After matric, while classmates eased into university, Joe Pietersen went straight into rugby. On the strength of a 14-year first-class career, he recently got the call to bring his A game to America, and we caught him just before leaving.
Before we get into anything today, I have to know, you were born in KZN, but you started your professional career in the Western Cape for the Stormers. How did that come about?
I spent most of my childhood in KZN, then went off to boarding school in the Free State, and then during that time my folks moved down to Cape Town, and then after school I just migrated that way.
You didn't only play locally, you also played internationally. Where to from here with your rugby career?
I see myself very lucky. I've spent about 8 years in total with Western Province and the Stormers, after which I then decided to, listen, let's go explore a little bit, because rugby really offers that, where you can go and play in France, you can play in Japan, and recently I've joined a team in America, and I think it's a whole new chapter, and it's something really extraordinary that rugby does offer.
Well, we know you're a hard worker, and I'm afraid today you don't get to rest either. Let's go do some CrossFit, guys.
Let's go.
A fullback is proactive, and Joe adds to this character trait off the field with his interest in what other people do. Richard Bateman's class was no exception.
Richard, what are we doing here?
So we're going to do some CrossFit, and what that is, it's functional exercises that's constantly varied and executed at a high intensity. I know it sounds intense, but don't worry, it's not that bad.
I'll try and keep up with Fez.
Well, at least I got my gloves on, I came prepared.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure if we should tell him those aren't training gloves.
Those are woolen. They're not supposed to be used to be trained.
Harmony was unfazed.
All right, you guys can pick that bell up with the right hand for me. We're going to get it up to the shoulder, and then we're going to do some back lunges with that dumbbell there. Stepping back, keep the chest up, and step back up, and then alternate those legs. So I want you guys to give me 20 per arm.
With rugby demanding a full range of abilities, from brute power to the finest touch, this was good training.
So next activity, set up a line of plates there for you so you can just take a step back. All right, so let's get those plates in the hands.
Oh, wow, it's really light.
Yeah, it's really light. Okay, so from there we're going to touch the ground, and then you're going to press that plate overhead, fully extending your arms.
So Joe, you're clearly the sportsman. How was it winning the Currie Cup and playing in the Super Rugby finals?
I think being a professional sportsman, you strive to reach a pinnacle, and irrespective of the level of play, you want to be in the best team and you want to play to win. And then in the same breath, you know, playing in a big occasion like that, and also then losing, you learn a lot more through losing, which is not the nice thing. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But again, you know, you're more amped the next season and you're more ready and geared to go.
Brother, come on, you're not even sweating. Let's up the ante a little bit. Me versus you, foot race.
I'm all for it. Despite your obvious size advantage, let's go.
The pro athlete is telling me that I've got an advantage.
Who do you think's going to win? Because I honestly have no idea.
I'm definitely putting my money on Joe, the pro athlete after all.
I put my money on the league. But you know what? We're the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so I think Fizz is going to let him win.
Respect.
And I think that's the story they're going to stick with.
It's the straightest line of attack Joe has ever taken. And with no stepping required, Fez stood no chance.
Okay, clearly there was a winner. He is a pro athlete. Thankfully, he's a nice guy, which is why I let him win. Thank you very much. I'll let you win.
What this running, kicking points machine is known for is that rugby has never defined him. His curiosity about life led us to a shark cage dive with John Austin Miller and Michael Claessens.
So since we're going shark cage diving, I've actually invited a real shark, Michael Claessens. You guys are happy with that?
Hey, how are you?
Mike's been chatting to John a little bit. John will be our guide and our skipper, and he'll take us out today.
Hey. Welcome to Shark Cage Diving KZN on the Durban South Coast. We're just going to put our wetsuits on. The sharks are waiting for us, and we're going to head out to sea. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Good.
A handy surfer, Joe is quite at home in a wetsuit, especially after the cold waters of the Western Cape. Fez wasn't going to miss striking a pose.
Wherever
It's so early in the morning.
contemplation.
Such a show-off. But round here, being ripped only earns you more heavy lifting.
Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go and drop the boat on the beach. We're just going to get everybody to come to the one side. We're just going to help turn the boat around facing the ocean. We're going to give a nice little springbok scrum there, warm our muscles a little bit.
One of the athletes this rugby star respects most is extreme swimmer and ocean campaigner Lewis Pugh. Any adventures Pugh undertakes are about highlighting threats to marine animals and ecosystems. Joe has taken every opportunity to learn about these oceanic black-tipped sharks. It was his father who raised him and his brother Willie to appreciate wildlife in the ocean or the bush.
Joe, how was the experience for you?
It was exceptional. You don't often get the chance to get out there and swim with sharks, and so freely loose from the boat. The cage drifts away, so every now and again you're looking up thinking, should we actually going to get back to the boat? So it's a great experience.
And have you guys done anything similar?
I haven't. It's been a first for me, definitely not a last. I'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, I like getting out there and experiencing things and adventures and new things especially. And then the only problem is I struggle with my sea legs. I do tend to get a bit of seasickness.
But you persevered. It was very impressive. Michael, since retiring from the Springboks and the Sharks, what have you been up to?
I've had an amazing month. I've taken off this month. I've travelled a bit. I've been to 3 different places. I've been in a bush with Joe. I actually went to Vic Falls with my wife. I've spent some time with the kids, and I've done some work experience as well. For me, real life starts now, so obviously I have to look at opportunities after rugby, and hopefully that's the case for me.
Guys, after that, I feel like you guys are real sharks now, yeah?
It took us a while, but I think we qualify now. I think we've made it.
I just want to know, maybe there are 3 vacant spots on the team, though. You could add 3 amazing presenters to the roster.
Well, we're always looking for players and a cheerleader, so...
That seems like new jobs to me, man.
There we go. Mama, we made it.
With all this country has to offer, this sports ambassador sees himself moving into tourism. He recently filmed the conservation series with his brother to highlight endangered species.
Joe, after that very high-octane and fun day, I think it's time we take a step back. I know you're a family man, you've got a young kid. Who are you in your day-to-day life?
I've got a young family, we love travel. And the day I became a father, everything literally changed, So you've got responsibilities, you've got people that hold you accountable, and that's essentially something that's motivated me more and put your life into perspective, where, you actually realize how privileged you are, irrespective of what happens at work.
We met 4 years ago at an elephant conservation event. I know that's very important to you.
Yeah, conservation initially started as just a hobby and being exposed and living an outdoorsy lifestyle to where I am now, running my own conservation organization where we support, especially focused on rhino. We support one anti-poaching unit in a private reserve and the work that they do. And these things kind of break off into more and more exposure into different projects, and it's really something that I've loved.
Joe, I commend you on your wildlife conservation and not forgetting your rugby career and your involvement in your family's life. Where to from here?
Rugby has given me most of what I have, and for the moment I'm still actively playing rugby, so I'm going to try and milk that for as long as I can. I've had great adventures wherever I went, and coming up very soon I'll be doing 5 to 6 months in America. I think it's going to be a nice challenge where I might be more involved from a coaching point of view as well as a playing point of view, but it's a totally new and different challenge.
Will your family be joining you?
Yes, they always do. So wherever I go, they'll join me and we get a little bite size of that country and that experience before we then head back home.
To this fulfilled, happy and grounded sporting hero, rugby might throw you some hard hits, but it can be a sweet life. And he will continue to play for a while to come.
Here you go.
Thank you.
To an exceptional day.
And to conquering my greatest fear and getting to spend another day with Joe. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Have a ball stateside and stay classy in San Diego.